The Energized Show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, brought to you by Our Kings Competitions. Ross,
are you intoxicated or something?
Introduce the guest, man.
Today we have Ireland's hottest free agent. It's the one and only. It's the Lamb. It's Brian Manning. Brian, how are we doing? And welcome to Cork, Munster, and Ireland's favourite MMA podcast.
How are we getting on, boys? Call me hands of stone, boys.
You're not throwing pillows anymore. You're not throwing pillows anymore.
Not a hope. I'm throwing cannons now, boys. I'm throwing cannons.
Absolutely. Obviously, you're fresh off a massive win at Cage Conflict 14. Opened the Devonish in Belfast. You had the place on wheels, as only you can do. Tell us this. What was that fight week like? You know, when unfortunately Sean had to pull out, and then you got the new opponent in it at the last minute. What was that like for you? Because I know you were panicking a bit at one stage.
Very panicky and a very fucking stressful week, boys. A very stressful week. And just I got the news on Monday that Sean McCormick was out with a concussion, and straight away I start freaking out, this and that, try to get this person that. But no one in fucking Ireland wanted it, boys. No one would step in there. There was names, I won't name any names, but there was a lot of people put forward, and there's no one jumping in against me and late and all this, you know what I mean? And no one in Ireland wanted, so we scouted, my management scouted Cage Conflict as well, and we got a fella in Portugal. My management got a fella in Portugal, and this Delma character, and he was costing a bit to get in. You know, he was costing a bit, but I was willing to do whatever and accept whoever. And you know, only myself, my management, Cage Conflict, only know the sacrifices that were made. The sacrifices that were made to get this fella over here. Sacrifices on our side behalf, right? To get this fella over here. But as I said, I accepted any terms, anything, just to get a fight. I couldn't give a fuck. I just wanted a fight. I wanted to go 3-0, and I wanted to knock his brain into a different universe, which I did. So I'm happy out.
But does that sound like you dipped into your own purse to get him over here?
Sorry?
Did you have to dip into your own purse to get him over here?
We'll say no more.
Well, look, that just goes to show the type of legend
exactly.
Brian Manning is.
Exactly, exactly,
how much
man.
you want
how much I wanted, I'm willing to fight. I'm willing to go. And as I said, big sacrifices made. And I don't care. As I said, man, every fight, the next, until I get to even when I get to the UFC, man, I want to get to the UFC and compete against these lads. I want to climb the rankings. I want to knock fellas dead all the way. You know, money will come along, but I have a mad passion and a mad hunger for the game. I'm hooked on MMA. I'm hooked on fighting. I want to be the best. Money's going to come with it. That's brilliant. But I want to be number one. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it just to look for money here, money there. You know what I mean? So I don't care if I get paid buttons for now.
Well, it does look like since you've gone from amateur to pro, like a switch has been flipped. You know what I mean? It looks like you've really stepped it up a notch. It looks like you're more focused than ever. And I suppose one of the telltale things that we saw was after the fight, you posted on social media. It was your first time not going on the piss after the fight. You're sort of giving up that party-based lifestyle. It seems like you're all in now more than you've ever been.
Yeah. All in, boy. And you know, I know it's like life is too short for regrets, but I remember, like, my whole amateur career, I've been on the fucking sesh, you know. I might go 5 weeks off for a fight, and then straight after the fight, I'm away for 4 days. On it for fucking no sleep, no nothing, still on it. Then I miss 2 weeks of training. I come back, I'm chasing my tail. I'm unfit, I'm not sharp. It was a cycle all the time. And now I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm in a great spot. I'm knocking fellas out. I'm getting better. I'm after figuring out this power that I have. And I'm not going to throw that away by going on benders after every single session. And what comes with benders is problems in my relationship. It comes with problems in my personal life and with law or with whatever. You know, I don't have time for all that stuff now. I've a dream. I'm halfway into this dream, and I'm in a very good place. And I'm not going to throw it away over the session. You know, so it's time to give it up and get sober and stay sober. I'm sober to stay sober.
And I think that's something that could be a massive lift for the youth around Cork, to see someone who was parking, was in a small bit of trouble with the law, like had that sort of background, and now turned all around, and now is looking to fight at the highest level possible, and not only that, but win at the highest level possible. Do you feel like this could be a story to tell in a few years, that
100% going to be a story to tell. It is going to be a story to tell. I know for a fact it is. I believe myself, and I can see it down the line, and people to look at this and get inspired by it. Get inspired by me, and give up the fucking shit, give up the drinking drugs, and chase your dreams, man. Chase your dreams, because I started this only 4 years ago, man, and look where I got me. So if you put the time in, put the effort in. And I've done it on the sesh, I've gotten this good. So just imagine me without the fucking sesh. I'm a scary bastard already. So you can imagine me knowing in the next couple of years' time, I'm going to be a freak in nature. And I'm going to be knocking fellas dead left and right.
Massively. And look, I think we touched on it the last day, I mean, despite the fact how much we absolutely hate Cork, you know what I mean?
The real capital boys!
I must say, MMA Cork is on absolute fire at the moment, what I mean? Even if you take in John Mitchell winning the PFL, Paul Buckley winning an AFL, yourself, young Charlie Manning, with a great win at the weekend, Barry Kennedy winning. You know what I mean? Like the gym is on fire at the moment. Do you guys feel that? Do you feel like there's a great atmosphere?
Gym is on, and you know what? No, this it's like our gym. The level is so good. The level is always getting better. Sometimes you might can do a spare, and you might get wrecked, and you might be thinking, am I improving at all? But really, is that the level of the gym is getting so good that like every spare is a warm, and like you're getting pushed and tested. There's so many fellas coming through. Then you've Evan Horgan. You've also, as I told you in the last interview, Lee McHugh. But again, unfortunately, from injuries, he missed his pro debut and start at the end of the year. But he'll be on the scene. There's a fella, there's Sam Driver going pro. There's Jack Maguire is going to be coming back soon. There's a level is insane in our gym, and a show, I don't know, 4-0 clean sweep. Barry, O'Sheen, myself, Charlie, and my brother as well. You know what I mean? My brother's coming through. The Mannings, boy. You know what I mean? So he'll be next. He's going to go through the rankings. He's going to go through the amateur, sit there for maybe a year or two, and he'll be looking at pro as well. But for now, going through the amateur stages, and he picked up a very good win. Like, he has the dog in him. Whatever's in us, I don't know where the fuck we got it from. We have it. We have that dog in us, and he was down around. If you saw that fight, and he came back and took 2 and 3. A lot of fellas, their heads would dip and they'd get battered the rest of the fight, but not a Manning, I tell you that much.
Who's better? Brian, who's better on the session, yourself or your brother?
I take that crown now, bro. Back in my days, but he's well able as well. And another thing for him, it's that, like, I don't have any. I'm not judging anyone. My brother, he wants to have a drink after fights, and people want to go on the piss, whatever. No problem. It's that I myself get into trouble, and I'm on it for like 4 days. I don't sleep or nothing on it, and then I get into, as I said, I get into trouble. So anyone else, if you're fine on it, I don't judge you. Belt the way, But for me, not for me. If I want to go places.
And tell us this: was it a emotional seeing your brother fight before you? And like, is that something that you enjoyed, or is that something that you're like
stressful, man? Emotional. It was fucking stressful. Like I was fucking watching. I was on the way to the venue watching it on my phone. I was nearly crashing the car and everything and screaming, Charlie, and this and that. And I was thinking he's going to get. I was worried he was going to get finished in the first round. Do you know the way your man was had him down? He's running no shots, and I was freaking out. And I was like, this can't be good for me before I fight. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be getting this stressed. And then I watched the second round, and I saw he was doing better, and I was like, all right, so that's grand. And then I got there for the third round, and I saw he won. And just, it's in Belfast. Your man's Belfast. I was like, I didn't jump into the cage. I was going to go in and record the decision, and I didn't bother. I stood aside because I was thinking I might just give it to him, man. But then they gave it to him, and I was fucking delighted from it. Delighted. So that's a big, as I said, it's a big win from against a Belfast motherfucker. And he showed grit and determination, and those fucking hill sprints as well helped him out. You got to do your hill sprints.
That's it. You have to have that. Cardio. The Manning brothers, the new Diaz brothers.
Yeah, the Manning bros.
Yeah.
We'd slap the hell off the Diaz bros now, yeah? I love the Diaz. I love the Diaz bros. How can you not love the Diaz bros? You know what I mean?
And tell us this, Brian. Like, I suppose it all comes down to what's next for you. You know what I mean? You're going to be a coveted man. Last time we spoke, there was talks of Octagon, there was talks of Cage Warriors. We saw Jumbo Jordan O'Neill in the comments saying he'd love
Jumbo Jordan! I'll give him Jumbo.
That'd be a knock at that the entire country.
That'd be a knock for sure. And he was in the cage. He was there at Cage Conflict, standing outside the cage, trying to give me the look and all that, you know. And then after I knocked the man out, I could see him again, you know, and he knows that he's a fierce obstacle in front of him. Do you know what I mean? I really believe I beat anyone in Ireland, man. I believe I could take anyone at all at middleweight in any middleweight division. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I'm thinking. I'm thinking on the up here, like, and Jordan is a fight that really could happen next, and I think it'd be a great fight, man. I think it'd be a great fight, but I think there's only one winner. Do you know what I mean? I think there's only. I do think I'm better. Maybe he thinks he's better, and we'll probably settle it. We'll probably settle it. There's a lot of things in the fire, man. Sorry.
A few years ago, Jordan O'Neill was scheduled by Paddy McCurry on Cage Warriors. And
Paddy Pissy string. That long string of piss.
What did anything actually? Did you see any of the lads when you went to FAI
over
the weekend?
He shot the pants. He ran to. He knew I was coming. He ran to Thailand.
Tell us this, Brian. If you had your pick, McCormick, Jumbo, or Paddy out of the three of them, who would you like to get in there with?
I'd fight them all, but I'd fight any one of them. All in the same night. We'll do a 5 in each. But you know, I know the one that makes more sense at the moment is probably Paddy. You know what I mean? Because the beef and stuff and all that. But any one of them, man, I don't give a fuck. I'm not afraid of any one of them. I'll fight the whole of FAI if I had to. You know what I mean?
And obviously, April 26th, Cage Warriors comes to Dublin. Is that where you're looking to get on one of those cards?
Yeah. I'd say Cage Warriors or Octagon. There's an April show in Octagon. And there's other promotions too, like, who knows, I might get a contract that has a fight. I can have a fight in else or something. And Combat Global is there. Like, there's a few other organisations there, like, that I could go on to as well.
I suppose PFL May 10th.
PFL as well, but you know, the thing about PFL, right? Here's the thing. I know Polly's declined UFC. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. And he's on to PFL now and probably making a bit more money or whatever, but to me, there's nothing like fighting in the UFC. I don't give a fuck what money you're getting or whatever. It's the UFC, is the UFC, man. That's where I said that's the goal in promotion. That's where I want to go. So I don't want to go to PFL and like be delayed to get to the UFC. I don't have time to be delayed as well. I'm 30 this year. I know I'm in my prime and I'm only getting into my prime right now. Do you know? But I still don't want to be getting to the UFC when I'm fucking 35 or something. Do you know what I mean? That's not what I want.
And look, if that's your goal, that's your goal. I was just thinking a one fight deal up in Belfast, nice learner for you, nice bit of ticket sales.
That was mentioned as well, yeah, 1 fight deal. But would they give you a 1 fight deal? Would PFL, would they do a 1 fight deal? We'll have to find all these things out. As I said, there's a lot of. The walkout, yeah, they love the walkout.
They'll give you a 1 fight deal. If you show them the walkout, they want a 10.
They might give me a 1 walkout deal. 1 walkout. I just walk out and I don't fight.
Well, like if you're looking at the landscape of things as well right now, Brian, like obviously Cage Warriors are coming in now and signing up a lot of talent. Last week we announced there was a lot of fighters. They're especially trying to get on the Dublin card. Then if you look at Octagon over the weekend, obviously Dennis Frimpong won, and then Will Fleury is now the champ of the organization.
Yeah.
So they're going to want to look over here and find more
100%.
You'd fit both them organizations very well.
I would.
PFL,
I would.
There's a lot of fighters actually leaving the organization, so it's sort of like you don't really know what their plan is yet. Hopefully, we'll find out more in the future.
Yeah.
But the all options are very good for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And like as I said, now you probably have news by the end of the week, boys. You probably have news by the end of the week. I'm fresh, not a scratch on me. I'm ready to go. And Jordan O'Neill is looking likely on Cage Warriors, or else is looking likely on Octagon. Not Jordan O'Neill on Octagon, but me fighting whoever on Octagon. It's just, as I said, they're the 2 most likely options there now. Now, if there's a great offer somewhere else, do you know what I mean? As I said, there's things in the final line this week, and we'll have a news into the week, but I'm open to all options. That's why I haven't agreed on anything yet, but I'm staying ready. Staying sober.
Love it.
Certainly.
That's what we want to hear, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
You're the man on the scene at the moment, isn't he, Bob?
Yeah, I am, boy, and the man, and the hottest prospect. You know what I mean? And like, I think I was going to get on the fucking mic, and Paddy was meant to be at the cage conflict, and I was going to say, right, well, what's going on at the moment? Paul Lewis is obviously the main man Irish MMA. I was like, I'm fucking next in line. You'll be calling me bigger news. That's what you'll be calling me in time to come, yeah? Brian Manning, bigger news. And fucking he wasn't even there. He wasn't even there, man. But I hit my hat off to Paul Lewis. He is the main man Irish MMA at the moment, but I'm next in line. And I'm going to be at a level above, you know? And
Well,
that's from all aspects, not from just the fighting, from everything else, to the walkouts and this and that and whatever else. You know what I mean? I want to. Do you know what I love? I'm hooked on entertaining, man. I really am. Do you know what I love when I see the walkouts, when I see the knockouts? I love looking at the reaction of people after, and they're all. I even jaw drop myself. I'm like, fucking hell, I just did that. Do you know? Like, I love the reactions of people. I love entertaining people, and I think I'm a born entertainer, man, at this stage, and I'm just meant to do it. I'm here to. I'm put here to do this shit. So happy days.
Yeah, well, even from ourselves, like myself and Ross covering MMA for this amount of time, like it's people that stand out and make people interested, and like like create a reaction from the fans, and like there's people online, like, and you definitely have that, and that's why when the announcement comes out, I'm sure we'll announce it as well, obviously, Ross, and then like,
it'll be huge. It'll be huge.
Yeah, will be big. Ross, won't it be?
Yeah, of course, it's definitely going to be huge, and like it's not that often we have someone sort of on before a fight and then straight after a fight type thing, you know what I mean? And like just how impressed that knockout was, and just the story of the week and stuff like that. It was just really, really impressive. And look, you're must see TV at the moment, Brian. That's just the way it is. And I think whatever you do next, you know, it will have people chomping at the bit to see, and like people want to see you back in there sooner than later. The first thing I said to you was not a scratch on you as soon as we came on today, you know.
Not a scratch on me. And you know, you're doing something right when everyone's calling me out. Everyone wants to fight me. John O'Neill, Sean McCormack, we've Paddy now on the thing. We've other fellas in comments saying this, that Sean Kelly, but you know Sean Kelly's irrelevant, to be honest, so I won't even talk about him. But I don't even look at the Wardy fight anymore, man. Do you know me taking it to a war fight, right, is actually a step down. That's a step down now for me. Do you know what I mean? I'm going here, he's still down there, he's still an ugly little bum, and I'm going all the way up. So I don't even look at that motherfucker as a fight right now. And as I said, there's other fellas calling me out in comments and other little bums, and you know I'm doing something right. And I've options here, all over the place. So you know I'm doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think it'll be, once you make your next announcement where you're going next, you'll see the level of fanfare behind it, and you'll see where you're at. You'll see where the fanfare is, and how big of a name you're becoming on this local scene. And again, I think it'll be very much like, you know, if you go to Cage Warriors per se, and you fight someone like a Jordan O'Neill, like that will be massive domestically. You'll have a lot of eyes on it. It'll be a lot of people's main event. And then on that also, like, especially with the walkouts, you know what I mean? Like, if you're on Cage Warriors, people saw that. Like, we've all seen how massive a fan favorite Tobias Harrella is. And, like, no one's like, let's go Harrella because he's from Sweden. Everyone's like, lunatic, like, you know what I mean? They want to see it, you know what I mean? And, like, you'll get that as well. You know what I mean? You'll get that whole, and even if you go to Octagon, you'll get that as well. People will be like, they'll remember you. And that's part of it. You know what I mean? And
exactly,
they want to see you win or want to see you lose, you make them feel something, which is always what you need. You have to make someone feel something. If you make them feel nothing, you're forgotten about.
Exactly. So, they're paying money. They want to get there. They want to be entertained, and they want a night to remember. Like, and I'm giving people that. I think that Cage conflict night, but people won't forget that night. Do you know? There's young kids in the crowd. There's fucking all these people who were there, and like, you know, they're looking up to that, and they see the walkout. They're like, fucking hell. Then they see the fight. Then boom, what the fuck? You know, your man hits the ground like a fucking dead body. And I and then if I got the mic, I would have topped it off. But they didn't give me the mic. I probably would have called out the fucking whole of FAI, you know. So maybe it was smart to not give me the mic.
Well, Yeah, the thing is there were so many fights on a cage conflict, right? And the amount of fighters that eventually, like their dream or aspiration is to one day headline cage conflict. I know a lot of them would want to go further, but that is a lot of their goals to one day do that.
Yeah.
And then you're after doing that, and like I feel like that.
I'm doing it
that's
again
like,
and again and again and again. Main event, main event, main event, main event, main event.
I feel like that's the perfect way you've wrapped up your sort of domestic scene on the domestic scene, but like
here we are,
like
Duggan.
Number one fan.
He's on the show, man. He's on the show. But like,
special guest.
Tell him he said his first and last appearance on the show, right?
What is that? You're gonna broke up there.
I said, tell him we said his first and last appearance on the show.
Very good, very good.
Yeah. So, Brian, obviously people are going to be keeping an eye on you. Like, when should they expect this announcement to come?
I think end of the week, man. I think by the weekend. It could be next Monday, but within a week. Within a week, definitely something's going to be announced very soon. Do you know? Because I like to keep active, and especially when I'm knocking fellas out, and I want to keep going with that momentum. Do you know? I want to capitalize on everything, and you should expect an announcement within the week.
Main event Manning coming to a venue near you.
Yeah. Main event Jason X, fucking Michael Myers, the Cannon. You can call me anything nowadays. Portan, fucking Cannon Fists. I don't know. Anything goes, boys.
Well, Brian, ourselves and the whole Irish MMA scene cannot wait to see what you do next. Is there anything else you want to say to? Is there anything else you want to say to everyone?
A shout out to my sponsors, right? My sponsors, Shandon Boys 420. Even though I don't smoke weed, but it's a nice sponsor. But fucking, we have sports injury recovery therapy. Shout out to my management, Alpha Fighter Management. And sorry, there, just one of the boys again. Shout out to Barry O'Callaghan, my manager. Shout out to MMA Cork and Curra Sports. Shout out Curra Sports. We're all going to the top, boys. We're all going to the top.
And don't forget Energized, Cork's favourite MMA
Shout
podcast.
out Energized, Jokergized, or whatever the fuck.
Love it.
Thank you very much,
boys.
For your time.
Appreciate it, boys. Right?
The Energized Show, up the Irish.
So, Ross, that was Brian Manning.
It was indeed. Main event Manning in full swing. He's in great form. Really hope he does maintain that sober lifestyle, because he's got absolute buckets of potential. And I think he can go the whole way, especially if he sets his mind to it. I think all he needs is, somewhere between 4 and 6 years, and like he could have an unbelievable career. So I think long may it last for him, and it seems to make him a better person when he's on the straight and narrow.
Exactly. And where would you actually like to see him next? Because as we were saying to him, like Cage Warriors and Octagon would both love to have someone like Brian on their roster.
I just think I want to see him in Cage Warriors versus Jordan O'Neill. I think that fight is so sexy. I think it's like such a slobber knocker of a fight.
Yeah.
Like those two throwing hands at each other would be absolutely epic. That's a fight I'd love to see. So give me Jumbo versus Brian Manning.
Yeah, exactly. If you are new to the show, make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to check out our Instagram page, because we keep you up to date with all the latest Irish MMA news and combat sports. Ross,
there's no other place for it, Basmo. No one else does it like us.
Well, I was just looking over the weekend, and that's 100% correct. And Ross, we're going to have to stick on cage conflict for the moment, because there were other professional fights on the card. Over the weekend, Marek defeated Graham Sheehan in the co-main event, and it was an absolutely devastating knockout. Now, we've been in contact with Graham. He is doing all right. But what did you make of that fight as well, Ross?
Look, it was a big finish for Marek. I suppose he's an 8-fight pro veteran now, so it was a big step up for Graham Sheehan to take that fight. And look, I think the experience maybe showed, and I think Marek should definitely get a shot on PFL Belfast. I think, why not? He's fought on Bellator before, so he'll probably be familiar with some of the PFL personnel, and I think that's a good shout for him. I think they need to get more FAI bodies fighting on the card, and there's an 8-fight pro. So I think that's where he should go next.
And then also Nadine Abibissa made a return and lost to decision against Nikita Valentino. Ross, what did you make of Nadine's return?
Look, I think Nadine's probably only back training about 6 months. Obviously, she had a child, and she was off for well over a year. So I think, maybe she just needs a bit more time to get back into it. But I think she's also relatively unscathed. So I think just a bit of back to the drawing board on her. I know she was working on her boxing in the build up to this fight with Paul Ryan. But again, like, she was fighting, a stand-up expert, and she probably didn't get to show as much as her boxing as she would like to. But look, I think both herself and Graham Sheehan will both be back. You know what I mean? Tough losses to take, as they are. I think anytime you take a loss as a pro, like, if you're not disheartened or upset by it, you obviously didn't care enough. So I think you sort of have to give yourself a week or two to, like, recoup, and then back to the drawing board and back at it.
Exactly. And there was a lot of good fights on the card, but the one I have to speak about was Blaine McGill defeating Dominic Rhodes by decision. This one was an absolute slobber knocker. At the end, they refused to shake hands as well. Like, there's a lot of beef here. And Ross, like, when it comes to amateur fights and like a fight going down like that and there's no handshake at the end, they have to do it again, don't they?
I think so. I think, like, both guys would love it. Both guys are at the top of the sport in this weight class, and I'd be all for it again, whether it be on another cage conflict, whether it be, and I know Dominic Rhodes, actually, his next fight is already booked. He's fighting Alex Fagan at Akuma. But I think this fight should get booked again for later on in the year, whether it's there, wherever. You know what I mean? I think it needs to be booked.
Yeah, no, 100%. So those are the main talking points of the card. Shout out to the people who won the belts as well. There was a lot of decisions on the card, Ross, but we have to get into more action on the Irish MMA scene, because Octagon 68 went down in Stuttgart, Ross, and Will Fleury won in the main event and is now the Octagon champ, the light heavyweight champion and the new heavyweight champion. Ross, what an 11 months it's been for Will fucking Fleury.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff. He even got dropped with a jab in the first round, and he came back and won. His boxing seems to have come on leaps and bounds. I feel like his ability to go to the body against these bigger guys really wears them down and really puts massive dents in them. And look, he went and got his hand raised, both belts over his shoulder. He looked good doing it. It was a tough fight. You could see he's wearing a bit of damage on his face, but Will Fleury at the moment, he is the man. He is the guy to beat. He is the guy who is the face of Octagon MMA, and I can't wait to see what he does next. You know what I mean? I know there's talks maybe he goes to middleweight and wins the third belt, but the only thing is I just don't know how good a cut to middleweight would be after fighting a heavyweight. It'd be different if you did the other way. If you went to won the heavyweight belt and then a light heavyweight and then down, because he weighed 237 pounds. So you know what I mean? Like, that's a big L chunk of change to cut off. But Will Fleury is the man. And look, being the light heavyweight king, the heavyweight king, I think the only other two people I've seen do that to come to mind, there's probably a few more, but DC and John Jones are the ones who come to mind when you think light heavyweight king, heavyweight king. You know what I mean? And Will's Fleury, he's holding both belts at the same time. So I think DC is the only other champ that I think of in those two divisions.
You might have to remember we
He's
had
gonna have to call out DC.
remember we had him on, and I was like, you might have to go to super heavyweight. You might actually have to go to super heavyweight. But like, speaking of the UFC, is it like earlier? Do you think that like Dana White or Hunter Campbell are going to be looking at someone like Will Fleury now and being like, champ and Octagon, like fights and exciting fights?
Potentially so. Like, I wouldn't put it past them, but again, like, I just don't know how willing Octagon will be just to let him walk out, especially with both belts. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see. I think they're going to probably try and put him in some tough matchups now and really test him.
It's gonna be very interesting. Let's see if he can actually bring them back to Ireland. Or it's great to see that, like, he said he was going to do this, he went and done it, and now, like, it seems like the world is his oyster.
Absolutely. And just to, like, sort of touch on the rest of Octagon, obviously Dennis Frimpong went and got a win, unanimous decision against Frank, who was 5-0 coming into this fight. Do you feel like he would have silenced a lot of doubters now, Dennis Frimpong, after that performance?
Definitely. The way you see Dennis Frimpong, right? The way he promotes his fights and gets people so engaged is like nothing I've seen in a very long time. Like the way
he's just suited to be the villain, isn't he?
Man, he said even in his post-fight interview that he lives 8 days a week, so he has like 7 days of work and then 1 day of just replying to the haters.
Unbelievable,
like, unbelievable. This chap's on a different level. Yeah,
he is. He's someone who Octagon are blessed to have.
Yeah, and like it's going to be interesting now to see who else could they potentially sign as well. So like it's really, really heating up, especially in the Irish MMA scene now as well, because like when you get Irish fighters being successful in organizations, they always look over and be like, who else is the next guy? That's why having Brian on, it's like this guy could go left or right.
Interesting also, I think Derek Kelly was in Will Fleury's corner, so I wonder, is there going to be conversations there, like, you know, could he go fight in Octagon? What story PFL? Because he hasn't got a fight booked at the moment, so hopefully we get him booked sooner rather than later, and hope fight somewhere.
Or even James Gallagher.
Yeah, James Gallagher as well. Definitely an option.
Yeah. Ross, also over the weekend, Cage Warriors returned to Rome. Cage Warriors is back, bud. Adam Shelley won by unanimous decision in the yellow gloves. Ross, Adam Shelley is back with a win. How happy to see the Team KF man get the victory.
Yeah, massive fan of Adam Shelley. Obviously, my favorite fireman who fights in MMA, including Stipe Miocic, is Adam Shelley. What a guy! Doing it for Dublin Fire Brigade, doing it for Team KF. Really lovable guy, and great to see him in the win column. Moves to 6-4. Again, like Adam Shelley, you know what I mean? Like his record might not look perfect, but like he's not an easy fight for anyone. No. He's right up there with the best. There's some top guys in that lightweight division. I think there's a bit of a log jam at the top. I think obviously Adam Cullen's fighting in Manchester. Who knows when we'll see James Power next? Like he's someone who I wouldn't be surprised to see on like Dana White's Contender Series. And then obviously George Hardwick is defending his title at UFC Cage Warriors Unplugged. So like there's a bit of a log jam at the top. And I think, you know, 1 or 2 more wins and Adam Shelley could definitely be up there. You know, looking for a lightweight title shot. I think him against is it Quay Higgins? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
The fella
Paul Hughes.
Yeah. I think that's a good matchup next for Adam Shelley. Why not? And I think Quay Higgins recently pulled out of a fight, so he'll probably be looking to get rebooked soon. I think that's a nice fight for Adam Shelley to fight next.
There you go. And then we also have to give a shout out to Dylan Logan, who made his return for after like being inactive for over 4 years. Ross, he won at Rage UK by submission in the first round and is the new Rage UK lightweight champion.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the mic, he called for it afterwards to fight for the featherweight belt there next. My only takeaway is, again, like Dylan Logan, as far as I'm aware, he's probably a free agent. Like, could he be a good show for PFL? Could he be a good show for Cage Warriors Dublin if they want to do more Irish on Irish violence? I wouldn't be against it. You know what I mean? So let's see where he goes next. But Dylan Logan, welcome back to the Irish MMA scene. And I can't wait to see him in there again. He looked really composed throughout the fight. Looked good on the feet. Obviously finished off with a lovely armbar. So yeah, I want to see Dylan Logan sooner rather than later.
Same here. So Ross, I'm just gonna have to bring up the UFC from over the weekend. UFC 313. We have a new UFC light heavyweight champion in Magomed Ankalaev after he defeated Alex Pereira by decision. Ross, how happy are you to see a new light heavyweight king?
Not really, to be honest. I think everyone sort of loves Alex Pereira, and I feel like a win here would have had Pereira versus the winner of Jones Aspinall. I feel like, there are some big fights, but now I feel like we're going to do. I feel like UFC is going to. Dana White's already sort of alluded to it. They're going to go down the rematch. I think Pereira versus Ankalaev. I had 48-47 for Ankalaev. Just think, the grappling of Ankalaev is going to be something that Pereira is going to have to overcome. But again, great way to overcome grappling is knocking out your opponent. And no one has better knockout power in that light heavyweight division than the one and only Alex Pereira. So, look, I'm here for the rematch. Again, if Pereira is not available in time, I wouldn't be surprised to see them do Yuri Prohaska. And to be honest, I wouldn't be against seeing Alex Pereira fight the winner of Aspinall Jones anyway. For at heavyweight, I think he's still one of the biggest stars that they have in the sport.
Yeah, Jones Aspinall has to be announced soon, hopefully. Ross, also in the co-main event, we had Gaethje defeat Fiziev in an absolute barn burn. It's the second time they fought. We were obviously there. We were lucky enough to be at their first fight, but what a fight! Also, Fiziev's technique is just on a different level.
Yeah, he's one of the elite strikers in the game. And look, Gaethje is a human highlight reel by nature. His nickname is the highlight. So another unbelievable fight, as good as the first one, if not maybe even better. Mass respect for Fiziev taking the fight on short notice against someone like Gaethje. Apparently, loads of people turned it down. Going to be interesting to see where we see Gaethje go next. There's talks of Dustin Poirier having a retirement fight. He sort of alluded that he has an opponent, but I don't think people will be against saying Poirier versus Gaethje again. No. If not, I think Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira could be good scrap. A rematch against Max Holloway, I don't think anyone would say no to that as well. I think Gaethje's got plenty of options at the moment, and I think he'll probably be rewarded for taking the fight on short notice and staying on the card because they needed his star power on the card.
Definitely. Just to wrap up the card, Ross, the first fight on the pay-per-view, Roofy. This guy got a spinning wheel kick to knock out King Green. Ross, what do you make of Roofy and the way his technique, the way he fights? He's sort of like an orthodox Conor McGregor.
Yeah, he's known for his finishing power, and that spinning wheel kick was so clean. It almost looked like you missed him. It was so smooth. It was absolutely beautiful. Look, I can't wait to see him again mixed up with some of the best in the division. I actually think him versus Fiziev would be a great fight next. Why not?
Well, I was just like, wow, this guy's a star. Because that's the thing. The UFC they need more stars, and when someone fights like that and gets finishes like that, that's how you become a star. Even Joaquin Buckley is still living off that KO. Ross, we have to discuss Dana White teaming up with Turki Al Sheikh, and they are now starting their own boxing organization. Ross, the news came out last week. Dana White is now finally fully in the boxing scene. What you make of the agreement, and what do you make of it for the landscape of boxing throughout the world?
I think this is going to be really good for boxing, and I think one element that's going to benefit the most out of anyone, I think, is actually Irish boxing. We already seen Callum Walsh as the face of UFC Fight Pass. He's the face of Zuffa Boxing. He is going to be at the forefront of this deal. We also see Thomas Carthy is someone who they're massively impressed with. We had Thomas on last week, and he, I wonder will Turk Ali will he be at this event in Madison Square Garden? Will this be sort of seen as one of the first events under this new Zuffa era boxing, this TKO boxing, as one might say, because Nick Khan, who's basically the main guy who runs WWE, is also in on this. So you got to believe that they're going to have unbelievable production value. They're going to have unbelievable storytelling, And if you were a boxer, I saw Stevie McKenna was at the UFC, and he had a chat with Dana White in passing at one stage. And you gotta believe, if Dana White YouTube Stevie McKenna, he is the ultimate Dana White type fighter. He's in there for the finish at all times. And I think there's going to be an absolute plethora of Irish talent that's going to get snapped up to this. And I think we're going to see them massively on the world stage. And I could see, like a lot of times, as of late, WWE and UFC are like piggybacking off each other's dates. There might be like a SmackDown on a Friday night, and then a UFC on a Saturday night, or on a Monday night, and like it's keeping the sort of same, I'm going to say 18 to 40-year-old male category, with the buy-in there. And who's to stop them having a boxing event on a Thursday night or Friday night if there's no WWE on, or maybe even on a Sunday night, and getting these events really going with the fan base they've already accumulated.
Yeah, it's just the way. I'm just going to call him Turkey because I can't keep butchering his name, but he's now met all the fighters. He's basically paid nearly every fighter that has a big name in the scene. I haven't heard one person say a bad word about him, so therefore he's obviously a good businessman, or pays well, so people love him. And now Dana White, what he's done with the UFC is just like on a different level. Like Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren are now friends again because Turkey. And I was listening to people discussing this agreement that people only really care about the fights on the card. They don't really care who the promotion is or like this, that, and the other. It's like if Matchroom were doing an event,
the best fights. They want to see the fighters in there. They don't care whether it's Eddie Hearn, or they don't care whether it's Dana White, or they don't care Frank Warren. Doesn't matter. They want to see the fights, and that's it. Like, you want to see your Dubois versus AJ. You want to see Usyk versus Joe Parker. You're not there going, oh, it's an Eddie Hearn guy versus a Frank Warren guy. You don't care.
No, it's more like just because it's a Matchroom show doesn't mean people are 100% going to go. It depends who's fighting on the thing. Now, the UFC have a totally different show. Like the way it's like, it doesn't even matter who's fighting on the card. That place is going to be sold out. I don't think any other organizations even come close to it. So all these fighters, knowing there's going to be a belt, knowing they're going to be in with the likes of Dana White and Turkey over wherever they host these shows, people are just going to like swarm to it. I think there's talks about Terence Crawford fighting Canelo Alvarez for the first event that's going to be happening in September, they were saying, on the Pat McAfee show. So, but the one person who's definitely going to feed off this is like Callum Walsh. Callum Walsh is big time, like massively, like, and that's going to drip into the Irish scene as well, because they're going to do another show in Ireland at some stage again. Callum really wants to have it in Cork. Who knows where they're going to have it, but they're going to have it in Ireland at some stage. And that, as we said, these other fighters, like for instance, Thomas Carty's, you mentioned Steve McKenna's, your Aaron McKenna's. There's plenty of Irish fighters that are going to be looking to get in these cards. Like Mick Conlon fought over the weekend as well. He won. Unfortunately, Tom McKenna lost. But there's so many fighters that are all, now is the time to really push, because this is going to be exciting times for not only boxing fans, but combat sports fans as well. Ross, just touching on Callum Walsh. He's fighting this Sunday in the Garden, in Madison Square Garden. He's fighting against Sutherland. Thomas Carty's also fighting on the card against Callaway. Emma Brennan's fighting Kevin Cronin on the card as well.
Rematch, baby.
There's a few other fights as well to look out for on that card. That's going to be on UFC Fight Pass this Sunday. But as you said, it will be interesting to see, like, is Dana going to be there? I presume so. Will Turkey be there? Like, it's really, really kicking off now.
Big time. Can't wait for it.
Yeah. Then also coming up this weekend, we have Friday night, Cage Warriors 184 Unplugged. Team KF's Craig McCratton is making his debut with the organization on Friday. We announced that over the weekend. Then in the main event, Ross, you said, was George Hardwick.
Yeah, he's taking on Clay for the lightweight belt. Look, I think George is trying to rack up the wins and trying to rack up some finishes to get himself back to the UFC sort of realm. Whether he gets another contender series shot or whether he picks up a spot somewhere in late notice, who knows? But George Hardwick is taking on Clay in the main event, and as I said, Craig McGrattan is taking on Luca Finocchio in a featherweight bout. So great to see Craig sign to promotion, and I'm just looking forward to seeing this like sort of next wave of Irish talent fighting on the Cage Warrior scene. I think it's going to be an absolute epic night, and I think Cage Warriors is going all out at the moment, signing up all the Irish talent.
They are, yeah. It's quality to see. Then Saturday night, Cage Warriors 185 Manchester being headlined by Luke Riley. Make sure to check out that event because the Manchester crowds are always actually very good, to be honest.
Massive event.
Then Cage Legacy is back with their Future Stars show as well. That's on this Saturday. Shock and Awe is on over in England. Gary Rooney is going to be fighting in the main event, and also keep an eye out for Amy Scully, who will be on the card as well. Then we have the UFC, Ross. Marvin Vettori is taking on Roman Dolidze in the main event. And as we said on Sunday, Callum Walsh is headlining in the Garden, MSG, baby. And then, Ross, Monday, St. Patrick's Day, baby. Monday the 17th, we will be back. Ross, very Irish show. It's going to be an even more Irish show next week, bud.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. We will be bringing you one of the biggest stars Ireland has to offer, but you'll have to tune in to find out. Some massive fights going down this weekend. Really exciting to see Gary Rooney back. I can't think of the guy he's fighting, but they fought at amateur, and
he's a new opponent.
Oh, new opponent, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
So that opponent has changed with that. Basmo on the ball. Also, always exciting to see Amy Scully back in there as well. So that's going to be absolutely brilliant to see. And some massive boxing on Sunday as well. So we're really looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it. And as you touched on earlier, if you do want to give us a bit of a hand, just hit the subscribe button. I'm not going to ask you anything else today. It's free. You'll get the best and most up-to-date content that you can here on the Irish MMA scene. No one does it more consistently than we do. And no one gives you more fresh, hot off the press news than we have as of late. So, it would be appreciated if you could give us that subscribe. And then, look, thanks a million for tuning in. And Basmo, anything to say before we take it away?
Yeah, next week's show, we will be covering everything that happens this weekend. And also, we'll be looking towards Cage Warriors 186 London as James Webb defends his title. And also, UFC London will be going down. Sean O'Bannon will be on that, and so will Ken Lochran. And also, Clan Wars is back. Clan Wars 51 on the 22nd of March. So, lots to look forward to next week. Ross, thank you very much for your time. It's always very much appreciated. And for people tuning in, thank you very much. Make sure to like, make sure to share, make sure to subscribe. And as always,
stay energized.
The Energized Show, up the Irish. It's the face that runs the place, Chaos Curtis. I want to thank the Irish MMA community so much for getting behind me. Yup, the Chaos Cartel.